I'm gonna perfect. Cool. I'm gonna just get started here, you guys. It's 9 o'clock. We're gonna start on time and we're gonna end on time. And I'm really we just had a vocabulary lesson, but the word antiquated means old-fashioned and outdated, you guys. We were relating that to the real estate industry, a lot of it. I'm sure you could probably relate. I'm really excited today. Thanks for joining. We have, we got Amanda Cruz here, and I'm really excited that Amanda's here. I worked with Amanda at Keller Williams. Now we work together at EXP. The really cool thing, I've been in real estate for, I got my real estate license in like 2008. And like the really cool thing is, I mean, you see a lot of people come and go, like a lot of people, right? Which is, I think we all know, right? The failure rate as far as NAR is like 85% in like the first 12 months. And, but then every once in a while, man, you see people come through and you're like, damn, that person's gonna crush it. Like you kind of just know, and it's like a fun thing, man. And it's really, really exciting to see people come in and just like do what they're supposed to do. Like, I know that sounds insane. It's just like anything else. It's like, if you want to lose weight, right? Like you just eat grilled chicken and broccoli or whatever, right? Like relax on the In-N-Out and the tacos for a little bit, like, and sometimes you get the results if you do what you're supposed to do. And so, yeah, I was very, very lucky to have gotten to meet Amanda, like right when she got her license, and just kind of watched her career. And she's just, I don't know, started a team of her own. And it's really awesome to see when people plug in, they do it. Like when people, like, I love Amanda because she's like very learning based. She's always asking questions, right? I was just reading, I forget what book I was reading. I think I was reading The E-Myth, and it was talking about how like really successful people, like a common denominator between like really successful people is like, they have a passion to want to get it right. Does that make sense? Like they just want to get it right. They just want to figure it out and get it right. And like, that's what I see in Amanda. And it's cool. She's always asking me questions and I'm asking her questions. Like it's a cool, really fun dynamic. And she's here to share some of her experience with us. I wanted to thank you. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate the introduction. And yes, you're always here to ask questions. That's a huge reason why I came over to EXP, because you have been a huge help. I mean, just in the last 6 months, I've been able to go from having a team to actually running the team, and having a real estate business versus running a real estate business. So thank you.
Dude, I love that. Cool. Well, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started, and as usual, all of our trainings are open up to any brokerage, anyone, and we have people I see. We've got our friend Elise is in Chicago. We've got our team in Jersey, Derek's in LA. This is awesome. So I'm glad everyone's here, and this is really, really fun. So I have a bunch of questions I'm just gonna ask, and then what we're gonna do is we'll probably go for about like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, no longer than that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop and we're just gonna do some Q&A. And the topic here is social media engagement. We're going to get to that in a minute. And that's something I'm excited to hear about because I'm not good at that. It makes me uncomfortable, right? And like, it's funny. I started doing video, which you probably noticed, right? Like I just started like doing video a lot, and I'm engaging with people. It's insane. People are talking back to me. Like my brother-in-law came in recently and he picked something up from the house. This is yesterday. He's like, oh my God, I got to get to work. He's like, what, more videos? And I was like, I know he was teasing me, but I'm like, shit, that's working. Like what my message is getting out there, right? And so I want to learn, I want to get better, and I want to learn more about that. Amanda, tell us when you got your real estate license.
I got my real estate license in 2018.
Okay. That wasn't very long ago.
No, it wasn't. It's flown by. I actually just took my broker's course, so I'll be getting my broker's license next.
Congratulations. Why was that important to you?
To get my broker's license?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a personal achievement for me. And I also feel that it's more impressive when I go on a listing appointment and I could say I'm a real estate broker. And many people may not know the difference, but that's my opportunity to explain to them. And I'd eventually like to have my own branch at EXP. So that was another idea that I'm certainly exploring.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like the consumer always asks, like, are you a broker? I made me really mad when I wasn't. I was like, it doesn't matter, bro. But like, now you're gonna say yes, right?
Yeah.
And that's really cool. It gives you the opportunity, just so you guys know, if you, what is it? You have to be in the business for a minimum of 3 years. Is that
Three,
correct?
3 years full time. Yeah,
Got it. And then you can go for your broker's license. So, and then when you can share that with a consumer, it definitely gives you a leg up, right?
definitely.
So you kind of talked about this. Are you a single agent? Do you have a team? What does that
Uh,
look?
so I've actually never been just a single agent. I've always been with a team. And then on May 25th, 2019, I started my own team, the Amanda Cruz Group. So we have two really phenomenal buyers agents and an admin.
That's awesome. Why would you start a team?
I started a team because I wanted to grow. And I came to the point where I was getting a lot of leads. I couldn't service everyone to
Mm,
my highest potential. And I have a daughter. So I wanted to leverage having a team to be able to spend more time with my daughter, because at the end of the day, that's why it's important for me to be successful, so that I could provide, everything my daughter needs and, what she wants, and give her a life that she deserves. So having buyer's agents makes sense. And, the two that I have are really great. And I could see them in the future becoming, lead listing agents. So that's part of my, 5-10 year goal.
that's awesome. Cool. So it sounds like to me you wanted work-life balance is really important to you. Does that sound right? And
Yeah.
then it sounds like you started your team because you had to, right? It was organic. You didn't really have a choice. If you wanted to keep growing, that's kind of how it went, right?
Right. Right. And I'd say I follow the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, their model in, building out a team.
Perfect, dude. That's awesome. What what's your goal for production in 2021? Like this year, like what is your goal
My
for
goal is to hit between 25 and 30 million in production.
That's awesome. So I got to ask you, how do you you got your license? If I'm doing my math correctly, you got your license 4 years ago.
Yes.
How do you do that so quickly? How do you like go from zero to, I don't know,
So
mega
it
that quickly?
it's interesting, right? We all have our own story. I was kind of put in a position where I was sink or swim. It was either I was putting food on the table or there was nothing, and that can motivate a person like nothing else can.
Mhm.
So I started off cold calling. I actually learned from, one day I came in and shadowed at your office, and I was like, oh, these people cold call, like that's how they get business. And I got myself a Mojo dialer and I just banged out the phones. And not to get too personal, but there was a point where I was fighting with social services because something happened. I had to be on food stamps at that time, and I was going through a really rough time. And I'm like, I'm on the phone fighting with these people. I could pick up the phone and be making money. So I was like, I don't care. I'll figure out a way this month. I hung up the phone and I just banged out the for sale by owners, expired. And I did that every single day and would just get listing after listing after listing after listing.
Dude, that's awesome. I gotta tell you, thanks for sharing that. I gotta tell you, I love the honesty. Thanks for keeping it real with us. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, my first year in real estate, I sold everything I owned. Are you kidding me? I was like, what can I get for this guitar? I don't ever play. Like, it was crazy, man. Like, I know what it's like, and there's no motivation than like literally a fire under your ass, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Cool. That's right. So it sounds like prospecting, and then from prospecting, probably build a database and working your database and keep.
Yes. From prospecting, I built the database. And then I started slowly getting referrals from that. And then that's where I kind of started realizing that social media is free marketing, free prospecting, free everything. And I would just start putting, simply just listed, under contract, just sold. And a big thing I was doing when I would show houses, I would just do like a quick story walkthrough of where I was. And then that started making people realize like, hey, she's actually doing business. And then that's when people just started organically reaching out to me. So that was the beginning of my
So you started getting listings, and then you just started doing videos, like, hey, I'm showing a house.
Yeah, that's all I did.
Should we just go right into? And then so that's how you. That's how you would engage people, correct?
Yeah, so that's how I started engaging people, and I've fine tuned it since. I mean, I've added on things that that have worked. I don't know if you want me to jump into that now or
Yeah,
not.
you know what? Let me ask you a couple more questions, then we'll get in there. What your top two sources of lead gen right now? I think. What are they right now this year?
My top two sources are social media leads and referrals.
Awesome. So, okay, let me ask you this. And by the way, is that your house that you're in?
Yes.
Okay. So you went from food stamps to like living in that house. That looks like a really nice house. So everyone should kind of maybe listen, right? Right. It's really inspiring shit, by the way. I love it. I love it. You're gonna be fired up. So okay, cool. So what do you really lead gen now, or is it mostly inbound stuff? Like, do you do outbound lead gen, or is it just like now I'm at the point where I'm just working our incoming stuff?
I'll be honest, I lead gen sometimes. I don't do it every day like I used to because I'm getting a lot of
Yeah.
inbound, just organic referrals.
So cool. That's awesome. That's a rad. So how much money are you spending on social media advertising to get these incoming leads and people?
I don't spend any money on social media advertising.
Okay. Did you guys hear that? So that's her number one lead gen source, and she's not spending any money, right? So listen, I'm just gonna keep it kind of open ended. Just tell us about what do you do? What works? What's working? What's not working? What would you do better? And you know, we've got a lot of new agents here, and yeah, how do you engage your people and not? And by the way, like I think people are gonna bring some questions like, how do you do it without like your stuff? I remember one time you did a video with your daughter. That inspired me. If you've seen like me do stuff with my son, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that, you know, like because it's fun, it's cool, it's like real. But like, how do you do it, and how do you do it without like being like corny, right?
So I have this written down, and I learned this a long time ago about being on social media because I did network marketing for like 3 months. But the one thing that I gained from that, and this was like years and years ago before I even got my real estate license, was that you have to get over yourself. That's it. Get over yourself. Who cares what other people think? They're not going to pay your bills. And just to scale, I brought in last year $125,000 of my commission just from social media, and I didn't spend a dollar to get any of those leads. So get over yourself. It doesn't matter what your friend from elementary school thinks you're posting too much on, Facebook. Who cares? So the thing is keep it organic. Be yourself. It shouldn't always be business, 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 business. It should be, one business post, one personal post, and maybe something else that is just like, something that you're interested in doing. Like you like skateboarding and rock music or whatever it is. Like, there's people that connect with that. Me, I post a lot about my daughter and my dog, and I like to travel, so kicking back up traveling, and I'll throw pictures up of that. But the one thing I think that's important to do is to have interactive posts where people are engaging with you. So polls, asking questions, these are great to do on Instagram stories. So I'll post who has a real estate goal this year, and one will be to buy, one will be to sell. Now, whoever clicks on those, you DM them.
It's easy, yeah, dude. I don't do those because like I'm like no one's. I like if I'm being honest, right? If I'm being like vulnerable, I'm like no one's gonna respond. I'm gonna feel bad about myself. That's the getting over yourself part.
If one person responds, that's one lead.
Dude, totally. So like I've all this money, and like yeah, 100%. That's I hope I'm not the only one that needs to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, the people that are responding are people that are really thinking about doing it, and maybe they were just scared to reach out to you. They think you're too busy. So I have one of my friends that I went to high school with. Haven't seen him since high school. He got married 3 years ago. I did one of those polls, and he like clicked yes, and I was like, hey, what's up? How's everything going? I closed on a property with him and his wife in May of 2020, and they've been one of my best referral sources. Like they loved working with me, and they're always sending me their friends and family. So any lead, right? They might not buy a house with you today, but they might buy it in a year or two from now. And it's just really building that relationship and keeping in touch with them. So the interactive polls is really good. Asking questions.
Can I ask you something? So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people need to hear this. I need to hear it all the time. that person, you connected with that lead when?
2 years before we actually closed on something.
So if someone says they want to buy a house and they don't buy it in like the next week, you still talk to them? I don't understand. Why would you do that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you keep in touch with them, you build a relationship, and real estate is, I feel like as realtors, we're like learning how to have relationships all over again, and the importance of keeping in touch with people and building relationships with them. And like I said, they've been the greatest source for referrals. If they like you, even in the meantime, they're going to send you other
Dude,
friends and family.
you're dropping like gold nuggets here, right? So like if you notice, like you're talking and I'm like sifting out the gold from what you're saying, like so that's rad. So also what you're saying is, which if you're a new agent, right, you might think this stuff is unbelievable, right? Like, so you're an experienced agent. You're obviously proven successful. What you're saying is there are people who like have not ever bought a house from you or sold a house with you, but they'll still refer you.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So I found that in my experience too. Dude, one of my best referral sources never bought or sold anything from me. Just constantly is like sending me stuff because of whatever. Now that person that contacted you 2 years ago, how do you stay in contact with them for 2 years? Like how on earth do you create that stickiness?
So I became friends with his wife on Instagram. And whenever they would post something, I mean, and I would like to preface this with, I'm a very socially awkward person. So social media is great for me because I don't actually have to physically like talk to someone.
Right.
But I friended his wife on Instagram, and when they would post stories, they were out, I'd be like, oh my God, you guys look so cute. Where are you guys? And just genuinely interact with them, like their pictures, comment on their post. It was their wedding anniversary. So, hey, happy wedding anniversary. DM them anything that's personal, like a wedding anniversary, a birth announcement, graduation, starting a new business. Like that should be direct messaged and have a conversation about it. So I just built that relationship and built that trust with both him and his wife. And we essentially became friends.
That's awesome. So that's the engagement that you're talking about, right? Like you're just
Yeah. And then just to add on to that, like as I'm posting videos of homes, like they wanted to move to Monmouth County. So the wife would DM me like, oh my God, like I love that house. Like, I didn't know you were selling houses over there. I didn't know that kind of house existed in Middletown. So organically I was educating them on what else is out there.
That's awesome. So what's happening is this engagement is when people are having, so this is what I heard, and I feel like this is what you're saying as well. When someone has a life event or when something happens, maybe not just like it, maybe comment or shoot them a quick message or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Like, comment, message, especially if it's something big, because people will remember when you honor something big that's going on in their life that's important to them.
It's true. I think about when people when people comment and like just engage with me on social media, like I think that person cares. Like they obviously do, right? Like they're thinking about me. That's really awesome. All right, cool. What other tips can you give us about engaging with folks?
So that's my Instagram tips. Now here's my Facebook tips, because obviously like the younger generation is on Instagram, and that's going to be like our friends that maybe we grew up with, and that's really it. It's more of a friend thing. Facebook, everyone's on Facebook. Grandmas, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, everyone. So on Facebook, here's a tip that I have. Go to your friends list and go down it and say it's Joe Smith. Click on Joe Smith's page, click see all friends and mutual. Whoever you have more than 10 friends in mutual friends with, add them on Facebook. That person is going to feel like they know you because you have so many mutual friends, and they're more likely to accept you. Where it's going to bring them to their Facebook page, your Facebook page. And that's where you're going to continue to posting your business, your personal stuff, the things that are your hobbies and that you relate to. I like to just post funny memes. At least I think they're funny. And comment on their stuff. Now, one thing that I found that is so easy, but also makes me stick out, is I put the sticker comments, and like they're really cute and some of them are silly. Like instead of saying, hey, congratulations, like there's all these like little banners that you could put congrats or like, toasting, and comment that. It sticks out, people remember it, and then they start looking at your page, and that's where you build familiarity.
That's really good stuff, man.
I have a quick question just for context. do you differentiate the question of like, this is my personal Instagram versus my real estate Instagram, or is like your whole life all blended into one?
So that is a really good question. I have a personal Instagram and I have about like 1,300 followers on there. Honestly, not that much, but it's more of the people just that I know and know me. And then I have a business page. I don't really get much traction on that. So my best advice is don't even worry about doing a business page. Just keep it all on your personal page because that's where you're more likely to be related to.
Yeah, that topic came up in a mastermind I was recently, and they're like, dude, just have one, because the people, especially if you're doing stuff.
I'm finding Amanda Cruz Realtor.
So that's my business page. Amanda Cruz _EXP is my personal page.
Okay.
I have a question about that. Sorry.
Go ahead, Sam.
Sorry. Kind of like those questions, but so 2018, right? You started, got the license. When you say like you're engaging with these people on Instagram or telling them like congratulations on their event or you look great at that party or whatever. In the beginning, are you doing that as? Did you create a new page right away, or were you just like Amanda, you personal Instagram?
I used my personal Instagram for the longest time, and then I made a business one, but honestly, like nothing happens on that page. I have a lot of posts, but it's just like the personal page is where it's at.
So that's what you're the lead source that you're bringing in, the extra income that you talked about, comes from your personal. The one that people know.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
I think like people, they know it's a business page, dude. They know you're trying to sell them something. You know that like,
right.
I also think it looks weird because I've done it, right? I think it looks weird when you're like, people probably like, yo, why are you trying to separate shit? It just looks kind of weird. I don't like, I've done it. Like we have a business page at Joe Waz Group and like, it just gets no engage. Like, it's just weird. Like it's where people go, like the 3 people that want to give us a bad review, that's like where they go. Like, and they tell me I dress like an idiot and bow ties suck and then they leave. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of it. But like any business, like people talk to me, like Sam, all those listing appointments you go on from my sphere, they all contact me through my personal pages, and they see that I'm doing stuff. And also it's like, I think people know like the business page, they're like, dude, this is just going to be shitty. It's going to be Sam Marks popping out of a bush like this. Just listed, Sam Marks. And they're like, dude, this shit, like, they don't think it's as funny as I do. They're like, this shit's dumb. Unfollow, boom. But like Sam Marks with a shirt open at Key West at Margaritaville dancing in the rain, people want to see that shit, right? And then you mix that up with social media. Then you mix it up with some real estate stuff. They're like, dude, holy crap, this guy is able to go party in Costa Rica without any clothes on. It's probably because he sells so much real estate. I gotta use this guy. Does that sound right, Amanda?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Say right.
Yeah.
Amanda, I have a quick question.
Sure.
For your CRM though, are you able to do your Instagram and your Facebook personal page to get lead generations on your? Because that's the only reason why I keep my business page open is because for my CRM. So all of my leads, my KB Core, my Follow Up Boss, anything that we do to get attraction from buyers, we can't do it on our. At least if you can tell me how to do that, God bless. I'll shut down my business page now.
So she doesn't do any.
But I can't figure out how to do it.
What she's.
So what I do is when I get someone that says they're interested in purchasing or selling, I know their name and I'll just get their number because I'm like, it's easier to text you. And I'm like, hey, can you just send me your email address? And then I throw them into the CRM. That's all.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right, Amanda, I'm going to keep going. I have other questions, but it sounds like you're on a roll.
Oh, all right. And then another good post that's, you could put it on Instagram or Facebook is, if I can get you a guaranteed offer in 14 days, would you consider selling your home? Or if there's a number that you would sell your home for that would make you move, what would it be? Sorry, my dog is
Those
barking.
work? Those work?
They work. Yeah, they work. I got one lead in Manalapan that I'm working on right now. And I posted in one of like the local mom groups. They allow advertising on Mondays. So like I'll throw up a post there on Mondays. And they're more long-term, but they're a almost $600,000 house in Manalapan. And that's it. And like one day she was selling stuff and like these little pouches. I'm like, oh, my daughter would love those. They were like $2 a piece. So I popped by her house and bought like 5 little pouches. just to keep in touch with her. And my daughter was happy because she got new pouches.
So when you like really deep dive and get in a relationship, like you're really deep diving and getting into a relationship with people. Like you see, that's the thing. Like you can't, if everyone like Jen just asked about like loading into the CRM and retargeting them and things like that, like that's not what Amanda's doing. Amanda's like creating really, really, really real relationships.
Yeah.
Those are clients that probably show up on time and like you and don't throw food at you and yell at you, right? Like when you're dealing with the general public, like the random whatever, it's different. Like when you have someone that's like you've been engaging with for a year and then they call you to like, they're using you. They're not interviewing people. They're probably taking your advice. It's probably nice, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's, they're willing to pay you. They're not, oh, well, can you cut this for me? And can you give this back to me? So, they have I think a higher level of respect and, a higher level of loyalty to me.
Yeah, dude, trust me. Yeah, we deal with we work a lot of cold people, and it's like we do both. Like in our organization, we do both, right? And the ones that want to work with us are like they're a lot more fun, right?
Yeah, and they're like excited. They're excited to work with you, and especially with someone you haven't seen in a long time. And like when you get together, it's like a reunion, So it's exciting, and social media is free. I don't pay for any ads or anything like that or any boosted posts. It's just truly liking, commenting, and messaging people.
So the questions that and if it's okay, so I'm taking some notes here, right? I'm gonna share my ahas at the end, right? You said ask questions, do polls. The questions you said was who has real estate plans for this year? The next one was if you could sell in 14 days, would you list your house? Was that it?
If I could guarantee you an offer in 14 days, would you sell your home?
I could.
Actually, my buyer's agent got a buy and sell lead from posting that. Melissa, not too long ago, we went and listed one of her friends' homes, and they just bought something in Middletown.
If I could guarantee you an offer in 14 days, would you list your house? Is that it?
Yep.
Would you sell your house? Correct. This is all recorded, by the way. Yeah. As everybody on my team knows, I write everything down 100 times and pause everything. And then the next thing is what was the other question? I thought it was really good.
What price would you sell your home for if you could sell it today?
And when they write back $1 million, that's like not a lead, right? You just go ha 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 ha, whatever, and you probably just like
unless they have $1 million home.
Yeah, right. Or like
yeah.
Yeah, when we're circle dialing, it's like, hey, I was looking to see if you're selling your house. Or like, they do the like Austin Powers $1 billion, and they're like,
yeah,
I've been calling for 2 hours. I don't have time for this shit right now.
Yeah.
But by the way, if you called me, I'd be answering the same way. But yeah, those ones are like ha ha ha. And then what is the normal responses you see from stuff like that?
I once in a while will get someone that's genuinely interested in I'm just gonna go step into my office. Once in a while, I'll get someone that is genuinely interested in selling their home. It's not going to be with every post that you get that genuine interest, but it's consistency. So just consistently post interactive.
Yeah.
Things.
What we're seeing is we are really seeing, like today, we just put two people, the house, I don't know the ad, the house on Tinton Falls that we just listed, and then the one that we're about to list in Asbury Park. Both those people were like, yo, what could my house sell for? And we're like, and I don't know if I said this out loud to my team, but someone just said this to me, and I would say, this is what everyone should be saying. You should be like, listen, if someone's remotely interested in selling their house or seeing what it would sell for, right now, if you guys list someone's house in whatever market you're in, can you really tell them what their house is going to sell for? Probably. Like, we're seeing crazy things happen, right? So we're seeing whatever, right? You guys all know it, right? Like, dude, Derek Riley, whatever. Like, he's selling a house for 200 grand more than whatever. Like, the things are, he lists really expensive houses, but like, that's kind of what's happening. We'll list the house for $400,000. It'll sell for 460. Use this script, guys. Be like, you know what, man? I'll tell you what. We have everything dialed in, but it doesn't cost you anything to list your house. If you really want to see what the market would pay for your house, let's throw it on the market for 7 days. We'll end it in 7 days and just see what happens. You're going to have offers, and then you can make a decision right there. Obviously, you don't want to waste anyone's time, but like if someone's on the fence, we just listed this townhouse in Tinton Falls. Sam Marks just listed one. This was a Sphere of Influence person, database person from me for years. And he just called me up. He's like, what do you think? And I'm like, dude, I'll tell you what, man. If this is something you want to check out, we're not going to charge you anything. We're going to come in. We're going to do all the media. Like, I'm like, hey, we're listing 1 or 2 houses a week anyway. We'll just throw you in there. Everything's already paid for. All of our marketing, we're just going to throw you in there. So, you know, the $800 to $1,500 that we spend to marketing, and this makes you sound like you're like, this is like, dude, listen, that really isn't a lot of money to us, right? Like we can put it up. We can see what happens. If you get the number you want to get, then, or you're, you know what I mean? Like, then make a decision then. And like, people will list their house. People will do it. And that's the conversations we're having. And then what'll happen is what we're finding is they'll say, you know what, with that discussion makes them really think about whether they're serious or not. Right? Does that make sense? And then they're like, you know, let's try it out. If they're putting it on the market, they're selling their house. You know, maybe you get one that pulls back or gets cold feet, but that's kind of it. But that's awesome, especially in this market, right? And we have, like, we're doing the amount of business where like we pay for some photos and stuff. It's not going to kill us. And by the way, when that person goes to sell their house one day, they're probably still going to use you anyway. Does that sound right, Amanda? Awesome. Do you time? I have some other questions. Do you time block? Like, are you just like on social media all the time and your brain just works this way now because you're just used to it? Or do you time block like, yo, I'm going to spend 1 hour and I'm just going to be like, happy birthday. Oh my God, congratulations. Like, how does that work?
So I don't time block for social media. It's just when I happen to be on social media, which is quite a few times a day, I just go through, comment, whatever. And I try to comment on everyone's stuff on Facebook and then Instagram, even if it's just sending like a laughing emoji to their story. Like I touch everyone all the time. So even like late at night, I mean, when I'm always on social media, so there's no time blocking for that. With other things and aspects of my business, I certainly time block. I like to keep all of my business between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Unless I, have to show something after hours or on the weekend, but most of everything I have to do is done between 9 and 3.
Dude, that's awesome. This is a huge aha for me. I spend so much time on social media, like more with me, like I should be like reading books, I should be doing productive stuff. But like when I want to turn my brain off, I 100%, I think like a lot of people just scroll, and I could very easily turn that into work, or I could be like, turn that into like just like a money making
opportunity.
Right?
Yeah, it's an opportunity.
Instead of just being like, whatever, your dog's stupid, I could be like, congratulations, that dog rules.
Your dog's so cute.
Totally. But like, that's really funny. What do you feel are the habits of a really high achiever in real estate?
Great question. So number 1 is consistency. Number 2 is clear and consistent communication. And number 3 is following up.
Dude, that's awesome. Cool. What advice would you give to a new agent, which I know you work with new agents? What advice would you give to a new agent getting started, like, or in the business?
My biggest piece of advice would be to, and I know this sounds cheesy, but this has been successful for me. Why are you in real estate? And focus on why you're in real estate. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to have unlimited income potential? Why do you want to have your own business? And align yourself with the most successful people that you could find in the business and just learn everything you can from them.
Why is it so important to ask them that why question? Like, why real estate?
Because it gets hard. When you first start out, there might be some times when, you don't have that much business coming in. Remind yourself why every single day, because it does get hard. It doesn't happen overnight. And it can be so amazing and give you such a great lifestyle if you just remember why you want it.
Damn, that's awesome. That's really great. What would you have done differently? Like if you're telling a new agent, like what would you have done differently than you did in the last 4 years?
I would have been more consistent from the jump.
Okay.
I would have been more consistent.
What were you not consistent with that you should have been consistent with?
I wasn't consistent with time blocking at first. And that just made me like run around like a chicken without its head cut off. But now that I've really learned to set boundaries in my schedule. It's helped me be organized in every aspect of my life.
It's awesome. They say time on task over time, right? Wins every time. So that's
Yes.
it. Yeah. Just take that time and keep doing it. It's progress, right? Not perfection. And you're just getting better and better every day. What changes do you see coming to the real estate world in the future?
I would say the biggest changes I see coming are the people that are putting in the work to make relationships are going to trump the people that are not. And Zillow, is coming in and everything, but I don't really think that a computer can take us over. And it's about really building those strong relationships right now.
I agree. Yeah, if you don't have the relationships, it's over. And if you do, you're going to be absolutely fine. If you have the relationships, you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to align with anyone. If you're the
Yeah.
trusted person, it'll be easy. It'll be fine.
There's not a lot of expireds right now. So I had to pivot from that. For sale by owners, a lot of them are selling on their own. So that's a big part of the reason why I've honed in on my relationships and referrals. And Jay Kinder did an amazing training the other day, and I was picking his brain about how he gets his referrals. But their market's not sound doom and gloom, but it's like there's a scarcity of listings right now. So, the people that are going to be listing their homes are most likely going to be listing with someone, a name that they know or a person that they know.
It's good advice. Where do you see yourself in your organization 3-5 years from now?
In 3 years, I see myself just working with sellers and being able to just give all those buyers to my buyer's agents. I see one of my agents stepping up into the listing role. In 5 years, I see myself more so directing the team rather than being face-to-face with clients and being able to sort of give my book of business over to a lead listing agent.
That's awesome. What are some non-negotiable items for you in your quest to make your next $1 million in real estate?
Instagram, Facebook, my calendar, my Google Calendar, and just picking up the phone and talking to people.
That's awesome. So I want to thank you for all that. What questions didn't I ask that I should have asked?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I think you covered everything. Just be natural, be yourself, connect with people, and you could talk to people any time of the day. Usually the best time to talk to people statistically is around 8 p.m. if you're on social media, because that's when the most amount of people are on social media.
Say 8 p.m.
8 p.m. It's magic time.
Wow, I had no idea.
Because that's when you want to turn your brain off, right? That used to be like sitting in front of the TV time, but no one watches. I don't really know if people watch TV anymore, but
yeah, exactly. That's when everyone's sitting on their couch scrolling after dinner and just relaxing.
even if TV's on, they're still looking at the goddamn Instagram, right? I know I am.
Yeah, it's background sound.
Amanda, I'm going to share my ahas. And I just want to thank you so much for doing this. You were great. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I think the honesty is what I love the most. Like just being real, man. Like that's what we need to hear, man. Because in real estate, that's one of the things I love about you. Like in real estate, like you're real. Like and like I don't mean that like in real estate, everyone's a liar, right? And everyone like says whatever they think people want to hear, like the leaning on the Lamborghini thing, or like all that stuff is so fake, right? And you're just like, dude, I just want to hang out with my daughter. I just want to hang out with my family. I want to do all like I want to help my people, and that's really awesome. And you don't see people get real. And the thing is everyone, I think people's insecurity overshadows what's really going on, right? Like where like you'll say like, hey, this is where I stumbled, or this is where I fell, or this wasn't working, a really humble person will talk about, the challenges they faced and how they overcame them rather than like, how awesome they are. So I really love that. One thing that I made a note here, I think, I don't even know if it's true. I think it is. Someone said, I heard someone say, and you made me think of this. that you're allowed to have 5,000 people on Facebook. Like that's where it taps out. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's somewhere around that number.
And someone said like, why wouldn't you not just max that out? Like, and that's like, that just made sense to me. Why would you not? And then when you said go to your mutual friends and the ones that you have 10 or more, just add them. That was a huge aha for me, right? Like, why would you not just do that, right? And then the questions, the polls, who has real estate plans this year. And it's cool. I know on our team, I already know who's going to go and do that like today. I know that's going to be implemented like immediately. If I can guarantee you an offer in 40 days, would you sell your house? Yes or no? What price would you sell your house for? And then the 8 p.m. thing, the consistency, these are all really great ahas. I'm going to open it up now for questions and see what question you guys have. Do you guys have some? And then if we could share some ahas, that would be really great. Come from the heart of a teacher.
Yeah, I have a question and an aha. The aha is 8 o'clock for sure on the social media, because I've always worked with in my head of like I should post things between like 10 and 12-ish in the morning, like for posts, just because I don't know, people are going to lunch or whatever the heck they're doing. But as far as actually engaging them at 8 later in the day, like when everyone else wants to shut down, you got to kind of be on. That's my aha for sure. My question is related to that. You said you got a lot better at time blocking, and you're also doing some social media at like 8 o'clock. What's your day like? Do you work like 20 hours a day, or does the time blocking help you avoid that?
Time blocking mostly helps me avoid that. I mean, listen, some people's schedules just don't align with what mine is, and I'm not going to not service my clients. In the morning, I wake up, I take my daughter to camp, I come home. If I'm doing calls, that's when I'll do my calls. If not, that's when I'm following up with my clients. And on Mondays, I have my admin send out a checklist of everything that my transactions, or not that my transactions, that my clients need to do for their home sale or home purchase, and where they stand, any new activities that have taken place within the transaction. And then I send out note cards to any prospective leads, anyone that's sent me a referral. I just send them a thank you note. Then I have a ton of buyers that like are just on my board right now. So I'll go into looking for properties for them. And then usually by that time, I'll take out buyers. If I have any, I'll go on a listing appointment if I have any, and then I pick up my daughter from camp, we come home, and that's it. And then I kind of have it different from Monday to Tuesday. So Tuesdays, if I am, I'll usually use that time for cold calling neighborhoods for the buyers that I have to try to match them with a listing, because there's not a lot on the market right now. So that could either be fruitful in getting a listing, or that can be fruitful in just getting an off-market deal for one of my buyers. And that's really it. And the same thing, I write out my note cards, I check the hot sheet, and that's it.
That's great. And then you just like go to the beach and spend time with your family and all the other times, I assume.
If I can. I mean, I've had a lot of buyer showings lately, but on a perfect day, yes, I'll go out and do something. And
that's awesome.
thanks. Oh, what time of the day do I cold call? Typically in the morning. It'll be around 9:30, 10 a.m. that I start my cold calls.
And I had a question, because I know you talked about the 8 p.m. for posting. Are there like certain days of the week that you would recommend that we post things?
No, I mean, during the week is better, Monday through Friday. On the weekends, people are usually consumed with doing something else. They're not going to be at home just sitting on the couch on the weekends. So Monday through Friday is your best. No, I don't plan my post. If I have a just listed, just sold, coming soon, anything with any of the houses that I have going on, I post usually in the evening. I use this really cool app called Insta Stories, and it makes really nice posts. So it's a lot nicer to look at. And then for any new agents, I forgot to say this, for any new agents, you could use any EXP listing and just be like, hey, look, this is like such a nice house. Or, just listed by EXP, powered by EXP. No one's going to know that it wasn't you listing it, but it's going to tell your followers that you're doing business and they're going to trust you and want to work with you.
I do that a bunch, and I
That's
leave the
really
price
good
off it.
advice.
People engage with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
Where they always say like when when you have the least amount going on is when the world needs to think that you have the most amount of shit going on. Like you need to fake it till you make it, man.
Yeah, and you have got to be consistent with the posts and the polls, because one thing is like when you're newer or just start doing something, the first reaction people are going to have is, oh, look what they're doing. And then like, you know, a couple months go by and they're like, oh, they're still doing it. And then a year goes by and they're like, oh, wow, they're really doing it. And then like, you know, years are going by and they're like, all right, she's the go-to, you know? So it's being consistent. Fake it till you make it.
But when you do EXP listings, I have to say this, because you do have to ask permission from the listing agent, only because sometimes if depends on the listing, you know, like I've had mine taken and listed and they've been REOs and they've been completely misrepresented, because a lot of mine are like, you can't approach, you can't. So just make sure you ask first, because you can get somebody, you know, somebody might get a little upset with that.
Oh, that's good advice.
That's good.
Yeah, no,
What I was gonna say is what I did for that's really good advice. Yeah. Jen's she opened up a real estate school. She's gonna tell us like what she's gonna keep us all out of jail, by the way. But like if you have like 2 or 3 agents that you're friends with, like on like you could be like, hey Joas, can I just post your stuff whenever I want? You'd be like, yeah. Does that make sense? Like when I was at Remax, I just got started. I found like 5 agents in my office and I went to them. I was like, can I please post your listings? They all said yes. So I just worked there. I had 5 agents I could pull from and I had permission. Does that make sense?
The other thing you can do is just like make yourself smarter and more valuable. Like go find a house that you think is cool and that you obviously think everybody else would think is cool, or better yet, some condo or something that there's going to be more of them that you could sell, or in a development that you want to work in, and then make yourself an expert on that, and then share that information with people that might be interested in that area. It's going to do 2 things. If there's people that are in that zone as sellers, they're going to say, this person actually knows my area, and something that the average person might not know about that. HOA fees are better here than over there, or whatever the thing is. And then you can just make yourself an expert on the market, and you're going to create content, and then you're going to expose yourself, and you're making yourself smarter so that you can use that information later and actually be an expert, instead of just like borrowing someone else's expertise and posting it out there and another just listed or another picture of a fucking house that people can go find anywhere. You can like say something valuable with the picture of the house, about the house and about the market, so that people actually care. And then probably the most valuable thing is like what's actually happening in the market, and run comps on the house, run the history of the house, say, hey, this house sold 3 years ago for X and now it sold for Y. That's a 27% increase, and the average in our market is actually only 12% increase. Like, yeah, the market's hot, but this area is even hotter. Do you want to cash in on your house? ?
Oh, that's a good one.
A thing on the top, like run the data and do some numbers. Like then you're going to be smarter when you get a chance to show a house in that spot, or you end up on an appointment in that zone, or you're cold calling for a buyer in that area. You're going to have the language of real estate down and be able to talk more intelligently to the people that you cold call. And you'll actually be making yourself an expert, instead of just like, you're not just faking it, you're just making it happen.
Yeah.
That's great. There's a woman named Mary Dix, Marydix. She's just a friend of mine. She's an LA agent with Compass, and she just got started. She's probably 2 years in, and every week she just posts another agent's listing. She gets permission, and she makes a really great post, and she talks about like the restaurants in the area, and she's like crushing it. Like she's doing a deal a month just from her engaging. And so Stephanie Morrison just hopped on. I don't know if she's live or not, but she does this really, really well as well. And this woman named Katie Roberts who does it. Katie Roberts, she would call me and be like, she knows her areas. She would be like, Joaz, I see you just got a listing in Wanamasa. Can I just go and preview it and take some photos for my social media story? And I'd be like, yeah, of course. And then like, she would just go and no one, it would not be perceived like it was, you could not watch this and not perceive like it was not her listing, and that she was not a full expert on the area. And I'd be like, oh, I got one in Howell. She'd be like, I don't want Howell. Like she knew an area, and she'd be like, she's like, if it's Asbury Park or Wanamasa, I want to like go all in on it. And then like you'd be like, there'd be like 30 people commenting. So that's really great, Gil. Yeah, we want to get away from like the just listed, just sold stuff. That's pretty unvaluable. Any other questions? Anybody? Stephanie Morrison, you got anything? Can you hear us? I sent you a video this week and you did not respond. It definitely hurt my feelings.
Hi, I'm here. You taped this, right? Because I only caught like the last half an hour and I'm bummed I had to miss it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. Yeah, we did tape it.
Yeah, that's great. One easy way that I ask for permission is there's, you know, you get so many emails from other realtors that just say like, oh, you're a match or this and that. And usually I click on them to unsubscribe to them. And before I unsubscribe, I send them a quick text. I'm like, hey, this looks like a good one. Can I repost it and see how they are? And then unsubscribe. So that's a good one.
Dude, that's awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for popping in. Cool. Any other questions, you guys? This is going to be recorded. We have a YouTube channel, Joe Oz Group. If you subscribe to it, I think there's a lot of awesome content on there. What do I know? But like, Amanda, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I think that was really awesome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm bringing back the Funk Master Flex DJ air horn. He's gone for a while, dude. If you grew up in New York and New Jersey and you had Hot 97, you'll know what I'm talking about.
You know what it is.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, Amanda. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye,
We
everyone.
appreciate you too. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Amanda.
Bye.
Thanks, Amanda. She's gone. There she is.
God.
Funk Master Flex night. All right. Maybe. No. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.